Hey YouTube, it's PinksPantha coming back at you. I wanted to talk to you briefly. I'm really going to try to make this not long. I have homework that I'm supposed to be doing. So what I do want to talk to you about is Grammy Weekend that took place almost 2 weekends ago. So not quite 2 weekends ago, a weekend and a half ago. Anyway. I wanted to talk about Grammy Weekend as well as, of course, Chris Brown. Um, you can't mention Grammy Weekend without it forever being singed in your mind. Chris Brown and Rihanna. And this year's Grammys marked Chris's return, essentially, from his fall from grace, if you will. Many people called it his return to the scene of the crime, which I found absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, so I'm wearing my Snuggie. Teach me how to Snuggie. Oh, teach me how to Snuggie. Okay. So yeah, so the Grammys were lovely. Overall, they were lovely. I have to say there were a couple of things that I was a little annoyed about, like Whitney's tribute. With all due respect to the Grammys, Whitney Houston was a pop icon. She was sensational. She was phenomenal. To limit her tribute to a single song, I understand that time was short, but this woman is no longer with us. And 5 second timeout. Did anyone else notice that they left Etta James out of the montage of people that we lost? Anywho, yeah, so I was a little disappointed by that. To see Paul McCartney, you know, I understand, I feel you, he's a Beatle, going strong. I understand their importance to music as well. But to have him perform twice, seriously, and to essentially have a single song tribute to Whitney, I wasn't feeling that at all. But I was really pleased and happy for Adele, who took home, like, she swept it. She took home the gold for real, and I was really happy for her. Chris Brown, I thought that his performance was great. I thought that he did what he does best, which is dancing his tail off, and singing a little bit too. So I was happy to see him return to that and have that be in the spotlight. My husband and I both were so happy with his acceptance speech for his Grammy for Best R&B Album, I believe it was. I was like, yes, darling, keep it short. You know, he gave thanks to the Grammys for letting him do his thing, as he said, and you know, that is what he does. He does his thing, and regardless of what you may think about him on a personal level, this young man is talented, okay, and he deserves every second chance that the next person who made a mistake deserves. And to just get into that briefly, I'm teetering on 5, but to get into this whole Rihanna and Chris Brown incident from 3 years ago, I think, you know, it's really unfair. I think society is being really unfair to Chris. And in the same vein, they're being very unfair to Rihanna. They've put Chris and Rihanna in a time capsule, essentially, and said, we're stuck in 2009 at this of this incident, and we're going to keep you there too. Chris, you're not allowed to move on and grow. You're not allowed to have a music career anymore. We don't like that. Rihanna, we want you to play the victim always. We want you to hold bitterness in your heart because this man did this to you. And I really don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair, and I don't think it's reasonable. There are two young people. Chris made a mistake. He's apologized multiple times. Yeah, he has an issue with his temper. He does. He's done some silly things um, in the aftermath of that incident. Of late, I really do think that, he's grown. He's growing. And this is a young man. This is not a 40-year-old man who had a 38-year-old girlfriend or a 42-year-old girlfriend and he beat her. Okay? That's not the same. I correct myself. Not that it's not the same, but you're talking about a very different stage in a person's life. Where at 40 years old, as a man, if you are beating on a woman, it is very unlikely that you will change your ways. Very unlikely. At 20, if you made the sole misstep of reacting to a situation, and we, the public, do not know what transpired in that vehicle that night, and by no means am I defending Chris Brown's actions on that fateful night. I'm not doing that, because if that was my daughter and she came home with her face looking the way that Rihanna did that night, there would be no question in my mind as to where's this young man, where he at. I don't care what happened in that car. I don't care. You don't put your hands on my child, period. But it has been 3 years now. Where's her mind at? It's not about whether or not she's forgiven him so much as has she made peace with that was then. I am a different person today. I want to believe that he is a different person today. And from there, I've made peace. From that, I've made peace. And I don't want to hold anger and be mad over something that happened. It happened. Will I let it happen again? Is the real question. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So, with that said, I just think that society is being really, really unfair to Chris, and they're being really unfair to Rihanna. It's not fair to them to leave them in this bubble of 2009, to make it the case that they can't move forward in their own lives, personally and professionally. I don't really know how I feel about Rihanna and Chris, tweeting and communicating on Twitter publicly. I understand the public's concern with how that looks. I understand, because you have young girls who don't, you have very young girls who are just, they're not right. They're not completely right. They need more guidance. They're not as mature. Those tweets from those young ladies about, I would let Chris Brown beat on me and da-da-da. That's not Rihanna's fault. That's the fault of whatever lack of guidance is present in those children's lives. Because that's just a bad place to be in your mind. It is not okay for any man to beat you, period. And it don't matter how fine he is, because I guarantee you that he ain't gonna look all that fine when you staring out of a swollen eye. You understand what I'm saying? But again, I just think that we need to let them move forward in their lives, and we need to move forward. The public needs to just stop sitting on that. Stop sitting on that. Like, get past that, please. Get past it. It's no, for me, giving Chris Brown a second chance in life and in music is no different than giving a drug addict a second chance at life and at happiness in life. So I think that, we all just need to get a grip. One, we need to just get a grip. And, you know, get things right in your life before you go judging people. Just like this Miranda Lambert thing. I don't agree with that at all. She needs to take a seat. She needs to sit all the way down. All the way down. Because she was out of line for that. And I don't like that. I don't like that. And just like Whoopi Goldberg said on The View, she needs to make sure she got her ducks in a row back there in her past before she go, you know, condemning someone. You know, truth be told, it's not up to us to say, you should never do this again. You did this wrong and this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get into comparing Chris's missteps to other people's missteps, but get past it. I'll leave it at that. I'm going far, way over time. But, you know, that's my 2 cents on that. So, until next time, peace.